Did you get into reselling thinking you're going to become the $1,000,000 man, but then you were worried about fighting against IRS? Well, in today's video, we're going to go over the top income tax recommendations for resellers for 2022. Hey guys, welcome back to Resale Dojo, where we grow our reselling businesses together. Today I got another helpful video sponsored by Mercari. And we're going to be going over some income tax recommendations for resellers, things that you need to be making sure you're thinking about, and things to help you not worry about taxes when it comes to the end of the year. All right, before I get into tips, I want to talk to you guys about a hot topic, which is the federal mandate on income taxes on reselling platforms in 2022. All right, this federal change in 2022 is that if any reseller sells over $600 on a specific platform, that platform is going to have to submit a 1099-K to the federal government, and that means that you're going to have to be submitting that as part of your taxes. In the past, the threshold was $20,000 per platform or 200 items sold on that platform. And that was going to be what triggered you getting the 1099-K. But going forward, it's only going to be $600 that's going to trigger it for each platform. And this isn't a change that each platform is making on their own. This is actually pushed down by the federal government. This is a federal mandate coming down the pipelines to each platform and making them have to do this. So this is going to hit you on Mercari, it's going to hit you on Amazon, it's going to hit you on eBay, Etsy. It's going to hit you if you sell stuff through PayPal as well. So any payment processing companies are going to have to do this as well. If you're a reseller, this is not really a big deal, because if you were actually making money on any of these platforms in the past and not generating one of these 1099-Ks, you should have actually been submitting it as part of your taxes to begin with. This is just a more formal version of it. This is them actually accounting for, keeping track of it, and keeping you accountable for it as well. And for a lot of people, this is actually going to make it a little easier, because now you're going to have a formal number coming from the platform of what you sold in that year. For anyone that I've talked to that's been worried about this change, I've told them not to worry about it. It is not a big deal. It is something you should have been doing in the past, and just keep listing and selling your items on your preferred platform such as Mercari. Okay, I know taxes are a little bit overwhelming, but I'm going to go over 9 points that are going to hopefully help you guys when it comes to filing in the future or just preparing for taxes in general. And for the most accurate advice, make sure you're contacting a certified tax professional, because I definitely am not one, but I'm going to be giving you some points that should help you guys out in the future. Okay, the first thing you need to remember is it's the gains on your online sales that are applicable to income taxes. So think of it like this. If I bought this iPhone for $100 and I sold it for $50, I'm actually losing money on the sale of this iPhone. And when it comes to your counting at the end of the year, you're actually not going to be responsible for any income taxes on that sale, because you actually lost money on it. So throughout the year, you want to make sure you're keeping track of your costs to help bring down your taxable income at the end of the year, and that way you'll have to pay as little as possible. Next thing you want to remember is that income tax rates vary based on individual and corporate tax brackets. Now, this is saying that your tax rate from your online sales is going to vary depending on what tax bracket that you are in. Everyone's situation is different, so you cannot be going based on what someone says online of how much your tax rate is going to be. For you to be able to figure that out, you're going to have to be going through a tax service and seeing what your rate is at the end of the year. Now, there are a lot of services out there, whether it's online or with the in-person CPA. So make sure you reach out to a CPA or work with one of those platforms to make sure that you're being as accurate as possible and getting down to the right tax bracket. All right, the next thing I want to highlight is that not everyone is going to receive the 1099-K form, but everyone's sales are pretty much going to be impacted by the income tax. As I mentioned before, everyone's going to get that 1099-K form if they sell at least $600 on their platform. Now, this happens if you're selling on Mercari, eBay, Etsy, if you're doing ride shares as well, right? If you're doing Uber, Uber Eats, or any other type of delivery services, anyone over $600 is actually going to be getting a 1099-K form. And this process is going to be kicking off January 1st of 2022. So any of your sales for the entire year of 2022 is under the $600 threshold that you're going to be hitting to get that form. So in January 31st of 2023, that's when you should be expecting to get your 1099-K form if you hit at least $600. And if you're on Mercari and want to know how to find your 1099-K form, this is the process to go by. You're going to want to start by logging into your Mercari account. Then you're going to click on Account Settings and Tax Center, and that's going to be where you can find the 1099K form. Now remember, if you do not hit the $600 threshold on the 1099K form for each platform, you are still responsible for determining whether you need to be paying income taxes based on the sales from that year. The next thing I want to highlight is that reporting online sales are way easier if you stay organized throughout the year. You want to be making sure that throughout the year that you're keeping track of your receipts, of your payments, of any costs that you've had, because that's going to help you with your tax impact at the end of the year. For myself, since I source at a lot of thrift stores, I always use a business-specific debit card that I purchase everything on, because that way I don't have to keep track of every single paper receipt that I have, because I know each purchase on that card is specifically for my business. The electronic record gets captured and downloaded for me to track against throughout the year. And the better you're able to keep track of your costs throughout the year, the more you're going to be able to lower your taxable number and pay less money to the IRS and to the state at the end of the year. The next tip is to keep your tax identification information up to date within each platform system. You always want to make sure that if you move or some other type of change happens to you, that you update the platforms right away so there's little impact to you when it comes to tax season. Now, for tax purposes, you have up to January 7th of the following year to get it updated in the platforms for the preceding year's tax purposes. That's a big deal. So like if you move, you want to make sure that you're going to be getting your forms sent to you, that the IRS and Mercari are on the same page with who this individual is and where they're at. Another thing to remember is to make sure you're starting to put aside earnings in case you owe taxes at the end of the year. Now remember, I said earlier that everyone's tax situation is different and what percentages that they're going to have to pay is different. So at the beginning, it's going to be a little bit tricky for you to know how much you should be saving. But reseller rule of thumb is that 20 to 25% of your profits are probably going to be going to the tax man. And for some of the larger resellers, you may actually want to be thinking about paying estimated quarterly taxes to keep yourself ahead throughout the year and not have a huge amount of money that you're going to be paying towards the end of the year. Now, if you're thinking you should be going down that quarterly route, I would actually be talking to a certified tax professional, because they're going to be the ones that are going to help you get an accurate number based on where you think your business is going for the next year. Another thing I want to highlight is don't forget about state income taxes. As we keep thinking about income taxes, you think about federal, but there are only 9 states in the US that do not have to pay state income taxes. So when you're filing your taxes for federal, most likely you're going to be having to do a state version of this as well. So make sure you're keeping that in mind for when you're going to have to be paying it at the end of the year. And the last item I want to go over, something I want to clarify for everyone, it is that sales tax and income tax are not the same things. As we mentioned before, income tax is the tax on taxable gains that sellers have to pay at the end of the year. And sales tax is a tax that is added onto the cost of an item that is paid by the buyer at the time of purchase. Now for online sales, the sales tax is collected by the platform. So like Mercari is collecting sales tax from that buyer of your item and processing that. And you do not have to worry about any processing of sales tax or accounting for it throughout the year. So while Mercari is taking care of sales tax, at the end of the year, you're going to be worried about the income tax, which is that taxable gain that you have at the end of the year. So I just wanted to clarify that for you guys, because I know some people have questions when it comes to what is sales tax versus the income tax and just how it works. So there you have it. Those are my tips for you when it comes to income taxes. Now remember, if you have any questions, make sure you contact a certified tax professional, because that is going to be the best way to go. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. Leave a thumbs up on the way out. Maybe hit the subscribe button down below. And if you have some time, check out one of the 2 videos over here. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.